Well, we're going to look at the first section of cards, right? So can you bring up the tech project card again? Thank you. So this is just sort of summarizing what's happening. This is sort of what Meghan said she has been going through in her organization. So this is a what's happening and what feels unresolved, just to give you some background, Meena. Paying for a system you can't manage, torn between forcing people to use it, switching to simpler tools they actually like. And it's sounds very overwhelming to me. But it sounds like a very common problem that a lot of nonprofits are having. Boundary mode is, boundary modes are, they're pretty self-explanatory. When a boundary needs to be created, when ethical, cultural, or operational limits need to be named. So like, where are the boundaries of what we could do? Or is this aligned, like you were saying, Meena, is this aligned with our values? So, okay, I think this is the only part I'm confused about. This is communications is round 1. But Tim, are we looking at it from boundary mode?
Yeah, I would generally say, if we're going to set some boundaries around using technology,
okay,
what do these represent to us, right? So we have on one side, responses may be timely if brief, but kind of focusing more on the human element, right? It's like, we want to get back to people, relatively quickly, but we want to keep that human touch versus I want to do that. On the opposite side of the pole here is we're going to use AI to write those emails. And then there's kind of that in the middle potential there. Does that help?
Yes. So we do need to agree on which direction it looks like we're going to be going to. Like what's kind of speaking to you in terms of something that you think would be a good boundary to explore, or something that you think would be helpful to your organization dealing with this kind of problem. This helps us kind of all get on the same page of where we're going, where we want to go and where we are. And there's no right or wrong answer here. And there's no winners and losers in this game. And if none of these cards speak to you, then we can change it up too. But can you read them? Responses are timely, even if brief. Unify all communications under a single standardized voice. Utilize generative AI to write emails.
Well, I know for sure that connecting, like one of my core values is I really want to build relationships and connect with people. So I would toss out the utilize generative AI to write emails. Yep, I'm that's outside of my comfort zone, but I also want to automate systems. I want to be part of those systems, but I want them to be working behind the scenes because I can't make every single touch effectively.
So maybe unify all communication under a single standardized system.
Yes.
Rather than voice. What do you think, Meena?
I think I like the idea of voice. Meghan, you said you want to center relationships, which I kind of align with too. Voice gives you enough space and grace to evolve over time. If your voice as an institution, as an individual, as part of a team, it grows over time. It gives you a chance to think about, how do I ensure that scalability happens, but not at the cost of you losing people and trust and relationships. So I agree with both of you. The second card sounds great. Let's do that. I'm going to note it down.
Okay. Sounds good. I love this little virtual setup here. That's so cool.
Yeah, it was fun. I'll be kind of the disembodied voice.
Yes.
So kind of now we're going to move into the engagement side. So strategically, just use this as an anchor, right? It's like unification of the voice. That's kind of helping guide us through the next phase, which is a little bit more in the weeds, right? We might be literally talking to folks. We might be scaling things using, SMS. So kind of a little bit more that personal touch, but still that spectrum of human automation. Where's the line? So now we're opening up into the second round of conversation. Julia?
Right. Because this all goes back to the quandary of having so much data, but not wanting that to affect building deeper relationships or person-to-person participation. But also it can, there maybe should be more automation. It sounds like maybe a system is required for to automate some forms of donor stewardship, or to alert you to places where you might want to call a donor or do like an analog reach out. That's kind of what I see as the maybe as the need. But the 3 cards here, supporters are invited to engage in a variety of ways. Some roles are informal and relationship based, and chatbots recommend engagement opportunities on the website.
Big
no chatbots for you.
No chatbots for me. No.
Oh, that's Deborah. That is a great question. How big is this organization? How many children or families are engaged annually? How many donors are we working with? Well, we have that information for you right here. And I can't really read it. But if you can read it, under $1 million. Oh, yeah, you can read it, Megan?
Yeah, we're under $1 million org. We have about 632 active donors, and our footprint's huge. So we're engaging with over 100,000 people, probably closer to 200 when we really count moms and kids and school populations. Yep.
And awesome that we got to use the organizational generator, Megan. Actually, we pulled some ProPublica data for Deborah's exact question, basically, is like, hey, I need context in order to answer this stuff. So, rocking. Keep going.
Nice. So what are you thinking?
Can I ask a question before Megan responds to that? These blue cards, are they like the focus area or the strategy where we want, or the direction that we want to go with?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Okay. And then how to operationalize it, I think, is the last.
The last card is a little bit more brass tacks in terms of some operational decisions. Yes, you got it.
Okay.
And we Tim carefully curated these cards based on both of your character sheets. So you can always just do it kind of off the cuff and on the fly. But if you're hosting a game, it's good to know about the characters and the problem that's being looked at, so that we can pick some of the right cards.
All right, I'm going to let Megan choose, and I'm here. Right by your side, Con.
Meena, I have a question for you as a sort of a data expert in this choice, and that is that I really love to invite people, supporters and non-supporters in a variety of ways. But because we work in Ethiopia, and because we work really, really hard, we actually don't bring like volunteers to Ethiopia with us. We want all of our work to be like wholly community based. So if a school needs to be painted, that's something we're going to do with the community members. If kids need checking for eyeglasses, we are going to bring vision specialists out of Addis Ababa to come to the field to do that. So the variety of ways things only applies to us through like, hey, do they want to watch video? Do they want to just get our email? Do they want to get direct mail? But and even because our community is so broad across the country, we don't really do that many events. So I'm wondering, as a data person, if we might kind of adjust that middle card a little bit, maybe bring out some more dynamic in that card
I
that
love
leans
that.
towards number one. I'm just wondering,
Yeah.
for you as somebody who is really into protecting the local communities, I heard you say that, like protecting their voices and their place. That's a great alignment with us. So I kind of want to think about these set of cards.
Okay, I love that. Tim, can I see the second card a little bit bigger because it's hard for me to read, so I can ensure I'm responding to Megan. Some roles. Oh, okay.
Sorry, it's a little goofy when I have to like pull it.
No
So-
worry. I think I can read it.
Yeah, some roles are informal and relationship based.
Amazing. And the first card, please. Supporters are
invited to engage in a variety of ways.
Yeah, Megan, I think we might be able to combine the first two cards. I mean, I don't know if we can two cards, but we can certainly start with a combination or the second one. I like the idea of your organization trying to do from the community for the community kind of a situation. And so it's very holistic. It's a loop that's happening within the community. So obviously, whatever we choose to do with the data, we have to ensure that it's aligned with the language of the community, the versions that they know how to speak, the versions that they know how to engage with. So if events are not the kind of events that happens in the rest of the world, but it's very, Ethiopia centered, what they understand, what the community engages with, we'll go with that. And I like the idea of starting with something relationship based, the second card. So let's go with that. And I'm still noting down the first one, just in case if we need to bring that.
Could I ask a question relating to, and yeah, Susan's right. And
Right.
that's kind of the point, right? Like, in all honesty, in the game, folks, this is the stuff where, Megan, when you get your version, because by the way, thanks to our sponsors at Bloomerang, you will be receiving your own very own copy of the Generosity Roundtable.
Yay.
When you get it, there's actually blank cards in here, so you can write your own stuff, by the way. So this is the one where it's like, we understand you have to be flexible in here. A question I have that, Julia, if you don't mind me kind of popping in.
No.
What is helping us set boundaries? Because this is a boundary setting conversation as well. So, because Megan, all these are great ideas, all this type of stuff, but what's the underlying real problem here? You ain't got the time. So
Right.
What's the underlying thing? If I reframe that question, bringing it back to the core outcome, how do we win? We set some boundaries. Which of these is going to help us set boundaries more?
The middle card for me.
Yeah. With adjustments?
Yes.
Okay.
Megan, are you return Peace Corps volunteer?
I'm not.
Oh, okay. I thought you might be.
But I am a cultural anthropologist. So
yeah, I was in the Peace Corps in Senegal. So didn't make it out to Ethiopia, but really wanted to.
Yeah,
Meena?
I would say, Meena, for me, probably the middle card. And part of that is the informalness is the thing I have time for. Like, I can't formalize. I can't invite engagement at like a multitude of levels.
And I love that part, which is why I think I want to, Megan, add this for our understanding of the boundaries, or sort of a permission from the second card, is that we are never going to be perfect in the relationship building work. It's a constantly learning work, learning the language of our community, learning what they need, learning who they are at the moment, which means if we are not going to be perfect, we are probably going to miss out on some opportunities, and that's okay. But what we choose to do and how we choose to engage, that matters the most. So the second card affords a lot of that permission. So I think you're picking the right card.
That's great.
Yep.
And we kind of get the vibe of where we're going to from these cards.
Yes,
Definitely.
that's a very important element here. They stack, they build upon each other. So love it. Let's go into the final one. And yeah, I would do the full zoom thing like this if I could, but every time I do that, by the way, it turns it sideways. Haven't figured that out, folks. So thanks for rolling with me here for Tabletop Simulator. Okay, final round. We're doing great on time, by the way.
Okay. So I'll read them out loud. Most staff and program interactions happen offline. Outsource core operational functions to specialized vendors. Require complete data profiles for engagement. And they're just not mutually exclusive, but where's
this,
the sort of direction? Like, how can we operationalize this? And like Tim said, what does success look like?
exactly.
And it obviously it could be a multitude of things.
Good reminder that this is still ultimately a tech project, right? Like, we're still thinking about this from the technology side versus just, a people management question. Cool.
I just want to comment. I love Deborah's question. Is the focus on the relationship with donors or the community you are serving? So Deborah, because I'm playing myself, I'm thinking about the donors. The relationship and communities are already really strongly in place by full Ethiopian staff. So we have 16 staff in Ethiopia as an NGO. And these are folks who live in the communities where we're working. They marry in those communities. They send their kids to school in those communities. They are part of the community. So I'm thinking in this game, my role play is really as myself, as the board chair and the founder, and the person who is doing the fundraising. Like, I'm trying to build this program. Yeah. And I'm young. I'm 32. I can stay up late working if I need to.
Remember those days.
So I don't have those days. Okay. So again, Meena, when I look at this, I kind of want your data expertise. I love that I'm sitting with you at GiveCon. By the way, did I tell you that in 2025, I won the Bloomerang Fundraiser of the Year Award in the 2025 GiveCon? So that's so cool.
Let's say we win in 2025.
That's awesome.
We are meeting each other in 2025, so we are celebrating your win.
Thank you. So I don't like the third card at all. I don't need complete profiles to do anything. Holy cow, I want to be able to answer an email and say, yeah, let's schedule a phone call, even if I don't know who somebody is. I'm doing that actively. So no to the third card. I do love myself a good consultant, though. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. So, and that's because of the size that we are right now. We have no paid employees in the US, on the US side of the work. And we're moving towards that right now.
Yep. Wow.
Yeah. So,
So you probably do outsource some things, like your website. You're not going to build your website yourself, maybe, or, things that, and, I think a lot of founders really think they do have to do every single thing themselves. And it's really hard if you're not a database expert to set up a database.
I like this middle card because I think it's grounded in realistic truth. If you're an organization out there like mine, and you have $1 million dream, which I have, hit $1 million, but you don't have paid US staff, I need people to help get me there. I need people like Dana Snyder, who's an expert at monthly giving, who I've worked with a lot. Caroline Griffith, who I'm just reading a contract to have her help us with text messaging. I realized I can't do it. I can't add that to my plate, but I want to do it for the growth of the organization. So Meena, what do you think as a data person looking at that?
Megan, first of all, I think whichever card you choose, you are still going to end up with a great answer. So pick which feels right to you at the moment. If the second card feels right to you, and I agree, as a solopreneur or as a person who's, let's say, who's wearing a lot of hats, and I'm not even a hat person, who's wearing a lot of hats, I think it's important to understand what parts of our work can bring collaborators for whom those are the strengths. And so if you think specialized vendors bringing in is sort of amplifying, multiplying your joy and your work, I think the second card works best. Let's pick that.
Let's go with that.
That's great. Okay. Well, now we can see. Yes.
Julia, can I say Nate is also not a hat person because
Yeah.
yeah.
I am definitely a hat person. I
am a hat person.
Yes, I have a lot.
Too.
No,
I have a lot of hats.
I've gotten a hat from Tim. It says, "Let's be friends."
Yes.
Yes. I love that.
So would we say we have consensus?
Yeah.
On these?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yes.
We're going to talk about it. We are hitting our time marks. Exactly, folks. We've done it. Congratulations. We do one last thing before we end the table, by the way, which is we're done. It's great.
Oh, no, we can't hear him.
But we're going to flip the table.
We missed the last thing you said?
You missed the last. Did you see the table get flipped?
I saw the table get flipped. I love it.
In slow motion, but we loved it.
There you go. Okay, let's let's get rid of that because that is obviously killing my internet bandwidth. So
that's so funny. I love that, flipping the table. Yeah, because you're supposed to start conversations around
head too big.
What? Yeah, my head is really big, but I have the adjustable baseball caps. But it's supposed to start conversations around these issues, and hopefully, hope it's almost like accountability work, or it's justification for maybe that you need to do something, but you just kind of want to talk it through with someone else or a few other people.
Yeah. So what did we learn, Megan? I'm going to kick it to you first. What did this kind of point toward? Because it's not going to answer everything. It was only 20 minutes, right? So
yeah. I think this, even though I picked the cards that kind of fit my real life scenario of playing me, it kind of, like it points to the fact, hey, Megan, find your trusted people to help advise you on the things you need and the help you need. Hey, Megan, answer those emails that build relationships. Keep writing your handwritten cards and let the automations do their work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Make those personal, make them beautiful, check on them, make sure they're still timely. But I feel like I learned about sort of surfacing really obviously some of the things that I continue to need to do.
One of the things that my mother-in-law, when we were talking, because she's the default setting for most of us is that we're very much in our own heads. And sometimes we need an outside person to do that. And so what was funny and interesting when I was talking to my mother-in-law, because we did kind of a character setting thing, because she was just as like, what do you want me to do with the character? And it's like, I just want you to think about how you make decisions from a generosity standpoint. And what's interesting about a role-playing game, folks, is that that's a built-in external advisor. Because you're getting out of your own head and going, no, let's view this from a different perspective, too. It is you. And we can't always afford to bring in a Meena or Julia, not even monetarily, just time-wise, to do that. So, Meena, what are your thoughts on kind of what we learned?
I think why this worked out so well, and I think it did work out so well, Megan, I'm sort of repeating what you were. It does work out. I think it did because Megan knows herself so well. And no matter what the character you picked up, it was mostly aligned with who you are, which is what helped you to pick the cards, keeping it so close to the things that matter for you, that you want to build a human-centric relationship, or that you were using process of elimination. I don't want the card number 3. It doesn't align with me. It was not, you weren't taking too much time to choose which cards weren't aligning with you. And I love that part. So that doesn't come from picking up a character all of a sudden. It comes from knowing yourself too well over and over the years. And I think that is what is helping you out. And it was an honor to meet you at UConn in 2025.
I love it.
Yes. Congrats
Julia.
on the Boomerang Award. I was at GiveCon 2025. We might have I definitely saw you get your award, and I forgot that you were the award winner. So
Yeah.
congratulations. That's
Very cool.
huge.
It was
Really
really
saying
fun.
something.
I also want to say, Meena, that's a really interesting point of view because I often know what I don't like sooner than I know what I do like.
Mhm.
Oh,
Like,
that
Which is
yeah.
very helpful. It's just as helpful as knowing what you want is just as helpful knowing what I don't want and doesn't align with me. And you have that. I could see that, Megan.
yeah.
Love it.
Meena,
So-
I have one more question for Meena.
Yeah.
I'd be interested just specifically where you think Roots Ethiopia, like where a solo founder with no staff could even start with data or start organizing their database. We know they have Bloomerangs, you have the CRM, but what are some other places to start if you feel overwhelmed by your data or if you're worried you're tracking too much?
I will always start with naming your boundaries. Like step one is, no matter what the project is with the data, name your boundaries. The first boundary, for example, is that, Megan, you mentioned yourself or speak about yourself as I'm the story keeper. I understand stories. I hold these stories. And so I want you to give yourself the permission that as you are reading stories, you will be pulled towards some stories and you will never have enough time to read every story. And that will make your heart ache. And that is okay. That's part of the process. So give yourself that space and grace that as you are familiarizing yourself more and more and more with newer and different and maybe similar stories, you're not going to get to all of them. Having that boundary or having that permission, I want you to start reading your stories, which you already probably do, and understanding your stories and then choosing what do you want to do with it. Maybe you read 5 of them, maybe you get familiar with 10 of them, maybe you start asking a few questions for the 10 of those stories. Who are these people? Where are they coming from? Why did they come here? How long would they want to stay here? And at some point, if you see that you require support of technology or AI into that process, I don't want you to feel intimidated that you need to have the best tools, most number of subscription. Start somewhere small, obviously something with more protected environment. So nothing, free where you are feeding the stories, but obviously making sure that you are doing it in a safe, responsible way. And then giving yourself the permission to experiment a little bit with Gen AI to see how it can help. Obviously, it takes a whole longer conversation. What do you want to do with Gen AI? But one thing I will point out is because throughout the 20-25 minutes, you were very focused on ensuring that relationships are at the center. You don't want to hurt them. You are welcome to state and share how you are using Gen AI with your donors and your community. That this is a one-person operation, but it's $1 million dream, and it requires the support of the community and the ecosystem and systems and structures. And I'm using Gen AI for these reasons and in these ways, and you're owning your actions with Gen AI. It's a permission that you're giving yourself and your community to join you for you to use the resources for that $1 million dream. And so when you're experimenting, you're not experimenting in shadow or in a risky way. You are using it in a way that you can communicate it back to your donors and your community. So those are some of the things I will say. Give yourself some permission, read some of the stories, get familiar with it, ask a lot of questions, and then experiment with Gen AI in ways that you can share it back with the broader world.
Love that. Fantastic.
that is
Megan, any thoughts on
advice.
that?
Wow. I hope
Yeah.
everybody play this last 2 minutes.
Oh,
from
we're
that.
recording. Don't worry. These are getting, this is going in the clip show. But yeah, that's great.
Really brilliant.
Story keeper.
Mhm.
Yes. I think that, I really think that covers it.
Well, and it was
self-grace
interesting
too.
It's interesting where you both landed in your character choices too, because the underlying reason the cards exist is to help organize philanthropic psychology. So it kind of took all the things that I learned from Jen Shang and other people like that, as well as then combining it with also the community protection elements that folks like Meena, Rachel D'Souza have helped teach me, right? And so it was cool to see you
Yeah.
kind of fall into that, right? Megan, especially, it was funny how the example that I did in my video where I'm wearing the terrible wig, like a founder, story keeper, you look so much better than me. In that regard, but I'd be interested because folks, you can actually take the quiz yourself. If you look onto the left-hand side, it says archetype quiz. That's a free archetype quiz, so you can find your generosity motivation. But interested to hear kind of like what resonated with that archetype with you, and also, is that your community? Are they story keepers, or do you think that they might be something else that's driving them? Mm-hmm. I designed it as a donor-facing game, and then all the nonprofit people were like, "But what about my problems?" So...
Yeah. Yes.
I think my donor community loves the stories more than anything.
I love that. I love that.
You know, my most popular thing that I do is called the Friday photo. I send out one beautiful photo with very little text every Friday. So it's a photo from Ethiopia.
Yeah.
Make your own story from it.
Wow. I love that. So you've really built a culture of storytelling, it seems like, at your organization, or because people are sending you the photos, so they're on board with that. Is it hard to get the photos, or?
No, we're taking the photos in Ethiopia and sending them to our community because we want them to see.
Yep.
We want to see them to see the place. Also, you know what, Julia? I was a high school teacher, and I can't help but be a teacher.
Yep.
You know,
yes,
with some of the work. And those photos are also sort of multi-purpose in that they're illustrative of the space where we're working. But also, I think there are some lessons in there, like, oh my gosh, the fig trees grow huge there, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, that is really, really cool. And you know what's so great about that is it's just like a weekly reminder of the work and of like the common humanity and the community that you're building. And it's not something that I would be stressed out because I don't have time to read, you know. It's just a nice little reminder for me as a donor that the work is being done. Here's the work. We're still doing it. We're still going strong. And maybe I don't open it every Friday, but I bet your donors like look forward to it.
They do. And Meena, this makes me think of something you said about the stories and AI. So I have over 300 photos in the Friday photo series right now that a consultant convinced me to automate. She said, you have 300 beautiful photos. They are already set to go. You can put new ones in the system anytime you want. But you are spending every Friday morning creating a new Friday photo. Julia's shaking her head like, right.
No, I know. I know the story very well.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of reaching back into the cards we picked.
Yeah.
Automate the things that can be automated without losing the love and the light of those things.
Megan, can I say two things? And then I know Deborah has asked a question. Tim, if you want to highlight that.
Oh, we got about 5 minutes before we go into networking. So we got some good time. Time.
So I have two thoughts, Megan. One is sort of like a idea from someone who is part of a lot of amazing newsletters. So I can't wait to be on yours. Right after this, I'm going to be on that. So I get a photo every Friday. As a data person, your photos every Friday is not just a window for me as a reader to see where you work. I think it's also giving me a chance to understand the language, the space, the context of through that image. And so what I would love to see also is if you ever ask your community members in Ethiopia to ask a question to your newsletter readers, add that set of one single line of question any person from Ethiopia asks to the rest of the world. I want to hear that language. I want to read that long sentence, that choice of words that people from Ethiopia will pick up when they want to ask me a question. I will respond back to you my answer so you can take it back to those who asked the question on top of the photo. All of it is automatable. That's one thing. And it helps me to build a relationship living so far from Ethiopia with people who are asking me the question. And the second thing is, to your point about automating that 300 photos and picking and choosing, that's amazing that you are doing. And here's my little formula that, because I write very long newsletters, and my formula is I ask the first question before, for efficiency from efficiency, I ask the first question, is it giving me joy or not? Is it something I want to learn or not? Writing newsletters is my favorite task in the world. And it takes me like 5-6 hours to write that very long piece of thing.
It's a good newsletter.
And it takes a lot of time. I find a lot of joy in that. And so I do not give that time to AI. I do not give that task to AI because I want to do that. That fulfills me. But then there are tasks that doesn't give me joy. So more than the first layer of efficiency on top of it is joy. What is for making you human first, so that you can pour back that thing into this work? And then comes the efficiency piece. And that's where an automation sounds like are helping you for the 300 new pictures. That is amazing. So long way to say that. Tim, where do you want to take us?
So we got Megan. I did want to surface this item, and then we're going to go into some speed networking for about 9-10 minutes, 3 minutes each. Meet a new friend. Looks like we got enough people so everybody can match up a few times. But we got one last question before we do that. Megan, you started to answer this in chat. Maybe you can expand here. Deborah asked, are you looking to grow your donor base, increase donations from your existing base, or start grant writing to expand program reach, or maybe all, which is a good kind of getting to that core operational focus question.
Yeah, Deborah, my strategic goal this year has been to grow our list, because I really think our cultivation of folks who are curious about who we are, I think we do a good job of introducing ourselves and telling the stories about where we are and what we're doing in those spaces. So again, this is really related to being a solo leader. Of course, I want to, increase the level of donations, but I will just tell you, like, I'm not focusing on mid-level donors to get them into major donors. And I have about 15 major donor relationships. That's all I can handle. So I think my best place for work this year I've been very strategic about trying to grow. In fact, I just spent 8 days in Minneapolis at the Ethiopian diaspora biggest event in the country as a soccer event. I spent 8 days getting the name of Roots Ethiopia out to the community.
Love that.
Wow.
Love
Amazing.
that. So what we're going to do is there is a okay, upload queue. Great. So I am going to do a bit of an analysis while we're networking. So folks, I want you to pop into the speed networking, match with a new friend, and then in about 10 minutes, we'll come back to the stage. We're going to learn a little bit of what our friend Claude is going to tell us based on some gameplay analysis that we'll be doing. So Megan, we're going to kind of see what that tells us. And then we have a special surprise for Julia Campbell. And we're going to hear a little bit about what to expect at the Nonprofit Social Media Summit, folks. So we're going to get you out of here on time, if not a little bit early today. Thanks for hanging. Head over to Speed Networking now, and we'll see you in about 10 minutes. Back on the main stage.